Fade in. The room is lined with dark wooden bookshelves, giving it an air of old money and importance. A heavy mahogany desk sits at the center, behind which sits M.R. Harris, the family lawyer. Across from him sit Jason Walker, 30s, and his older brother David Walker, mid-30s. Jason sits stiffly, hands clenched into fists on his lap. His heart pounds against his ribs as Mr. Harris clears his throat and adjusts his glasses. The moment of truth is here. Their father, Richard Walker, had passed away a month ago, and now, the reading of his will would determine their futures. Mr. Harris, smoothing out the document. As per the last will and testament of Richard Walker, all of his properties, business holdings, and financial assets shall be inherited by his eldest son, David Walker. Jason's entire body goes cold. Jason, stunned. Wait.
What?
His mother, Evelyn Walker, 60s, sitting beside him, closes her eyes as if she had expected this. David, on the other hand, remains perfectly composed, maybe even smug. Mr. Harris clears throat. The inheritance, including the family estate, all liquid assets, and company shares, will be transferred to David Walker immediately. Jason's head spins. Their father was a wealthy man. He built his fortune from the ground up, turning a small real estate business into a multi-million-dollar empire. Jason had always assumed the inheritance would be split between the two of them. After all, wasn't that fair? Jason, angrily, that doesn't make sense. Dad wouldn't just leave me nothing. David finally speaks, his tone carefully measured. David, smirking, well, little brother, looks like Dad made his choice. Jason glares at him, his jaw tightening. Jason, gritted teeth. There has to be some mistake. Mr. Harris sighs, pushing the papers toward Jason. Mr. Harris, sincerely, I understand this is difficult, Jason, but your father's wishes were clear. Jason looks at the document, scanning the pages frantically. His name is nowhere, except in one insignificant sentence near the bottom. Mr. Harris, so indeed. Jason Walker shall receive his father's personal belongings, sentimental items, and a letter written in his own handwriting. Jason lets out a bitter laugh. Jason, that's it? A letter? He turns toward his mother, looking for answers. Jason, said, Mom, did you know about this? Evelyn shifts uncomfortably, but she doesn't meet his gaze. Evelyn, quietly, your father had his reasons. Jason's stomach twists. His mother isn't shocked. David isn't surprised. Was he the only one who didn't know this was coming? He stands abruptly, chair scraping against the hardwood floor. Jason, to Mr. Harris, I want to see that letter.
Now.
Jason sits on his couch, staring at the sealed envelope with his father's handwriting on the front. To Jason, there is something you need to know. His hands tremble as he tears it open. His father's familiar script covers the page. Jason, I know you're hurt, and I need you to listen carefully. What I did was not a mistake. I had to make this choice, but you need to look deeper. There are things you don't know, things that were hidden from you. If you want the truth, start with the safe. The code is your birthday. You'll understand everything soon. Jason stares at the words, his pulse thundering in his ears. A safe? What truth? His mind races. His father had always been a fair man, strict, but never unjust. This decision didn't fit the man he knew. And now he had a clue. He wasn't just going to accept this betrayal. He was going to uncover the truth. Fade to black. Fade in. The letter trembles in Jason's hands. His father had left him nothing, except a cryptic message about a safe and a truth that had been hidden from him. Jason's mind races as he grabs his keys. He isn't going to sit here and let this consume him. He needs answers now. Jason parks outside the massive mansion where he grew up. He grips the steering wheel, staring at the house, his home, or at least it used to be. Now it belongs to David. Jason sneers at the thought before stepping out and making his way to the front door. He still has a key. Would David have changed the locks already? He inserts the key, click. The door unlocks. Jason exhales in relief. Good. The house is eerily quiet as he steps inside. Jason makes his way to his father's office. The scent of leather and old books lingers in the air. Nothing has changed, as if his father could walk through the door at any moment. Jason walks straight to the bookshelf, running his fingers along the spines. He knows where the safe is. His father thought he had hidden it well, but Jason had seen him access it before. He pulls back a row of books, revealing a hidden compartment. A black safe sits inside. His fingers hesitate over the keypad.
His birthday.
That's what his father wrote in the letter. Jason quickly types. July 22nd, 1992.
Beep. Beep. Click.
The safe unlocks. Jason exhales, his heart hammering. He pulls the door open and reaches inside. Inside, there are two things. 1. A thick envelope labeled confidential, for Jason's eyes only. 2. A small, dusty USB drive. Jason grabs them both, shoving them into his jacket pocket. He's about to close the safe when... Footsteps. Jason freezes. The hallway lights flicker on. Someone is here. He quickly pushes the bookshelf back into place, closing the compartment. Just as he turns around, the door swings open. David stands in the doorway. David. I see. Well. Didn't take you long to start snooping, little brother. Jason forces himself to stay calm. Jason. Taunting. I thought this was still a family home. Or is breaking and entering a crime now? David smirks but steps forward, eyes narrowing. David. I don't know what you're looking for, but it won't change anything. Jason clenches his fists, but he keeps his face neutral. Jason. Playing dumb. I just came to say goodbye to Dad's office. David scoffs. David. Leaning in. Dad made his choice, Jason. You lost. Accept it. Jason doesn't respond. Instead, he pushes past David, keeping his expression unreadable. But deep down, he knows the truth. He didn't lose. Not yet. Fade to black. Fade in. Jason sits at his desk, staring at the USB drive and the confidential envelope he found in the safe. His heart pounds. His father had left this behind specifically for him, not David. With a deep breath, Jason picks up the envelope and tears it open. A stack of documents spills out. The first page catches his attention immediately. Richard Walker, Last Will and Testament, original copy. Jason's brow furrows. Original copy? He scans the document, his eyes moving frantically over the words. Richard Walker, being of sound mind and body, hereby bequeath my estate, wealth, and assets to my son, Jason Walker. Jason's hands tremble. His father did leave him everything. So, why did the lawyer announce that David inherited it all? Jason flips through the papers, and that's when he sees it, another document overriding the original will, dated just a week before his father's death. David's name replaces Jason's. Jason's mind spins. This doesn't make sense. His father wouldn't do this. Not after years of Jason proving himself to be responsible while David threw away opportunities left and right. His father must have known something was wrong. That's why he left this behind. Jason looks at the USB drive, his heart pounding. If the documents were in the safe, this drive must contain something even more important. He plugs it into his laptop and opens the only file inside. A video starts playing. The footage is grainy, like it was recorded on a hidden camera. Jason's father, Richard Walker, sits in his office, looking pale and frail. Across from him is a mysterious man in a suit, someone Jason doesn't recognize. Richard Walker. Weak. You want me to change my will? Mysterious man. Smooth. Not want, Mr. Walker. You have to. Richard leans back, his face twisting in pain. Richard Walker. Gritted. Why would I leave everything to David? He's never worked a day in his life. Mysterious man. David is more cooperative. Richard shakes his head. Richard Walker. I won't do it. The man sighs, then slides a file across the desk. Mysterious man. I think you should reconsider. Richard opens the file, and his face drains of color. Jason leans closer to the screen, his breath catching. Richard Walker. Horrified. Where did you get this? Mysterious man. That doesn't matter. What matters is that if you don't do as we say, This information will go public. Imagine what it would do to your precious Jason if the world found out. Richard looks torn, struggling. Mysterious man. Just sign the new will, Mr. Walker. It's better this way. Richard hesitates, but eventually, with a trembling hand, he picks up a pen. Jason watches in horror as his father signs away everything. The video cuts off. Jason jerks back from the screen, his pulse racing. His father had been blackmailed into changing the will, and whatever was in that file had terrified him. Jason clenches his jaw. He doesn't know who that man was, but one thing is clear, this isn't over. David might have everything now, but Jason has the truth. And he's going to use it. Fade to black. Fade in. Jason paces the room, the weight of the truth pressing down on him. His father was forced into signing away his legacy. Someone had threatened him, blackmailed him into giving everything to David. Jason clenches his fists. Who was behind this? He rewinds the video, pausing at the moment where the mysterious man slides the file across the desk. Jason zooms in on the papers. Though blurry, he can make out a company logo on the top corner. Jason freezes. It's David's company. His pulse pounds in his ears. David was behind this. Jason grabs his phone and dials David's number. David VO. Sleepy, annoyed. Ugh. Jason? What do you want? Jason. I see. I know what you did. David is silent for a moment. David VO. Scoffs. What are you talking about? Jason. Dad's will. The real one. I have it. And I have the video. There's a sharp inhale on the other end. David VO. Lowering voice. Jason, where did you? Jason. Doesn't matter. What matters is that I know Dad was blackmailed. And you were in on it. David VO. Chuckles, nervous. You're crazy, man. Just let it go. The will is final. Jason. Not when it's signed under duress. A long silence. Then David's voice turns cold. David VO. Listen, little brother. You think you're some kind of detective? You don't know what you're dealing with. Drop this before you get yourself into trouble.
Click.
David hangs up. Jason stares at the phone, his knuckles turning white. That was a threat. David was scared, which meant Jason was getting close to the truth. Jason storms into his father's lawyer's office, slamming the original will and a USB drive on the desk. Jason. This proves Dad was forced to change his will. You need to do something. The lawyer, Mr. Holloway, adjusts his glasses and picks up the papers. He frowns as he schemes them. Mr. Holloway. These documents, they completely contradict the will that was read at the hearing. Jason. That's because my father was blackmailed. I have proof on that USB drive. Mr. Holloway plugs in the drive and watches the video, his face growing paler by the second. Mr. Holloway nods gravely. This is serious. If this video is legitimate, the new will is invalid. Jason. Then what happens now? Mr. Holloway. We take this to court. Jason nods, determination blazing in his eyes. The case explodes in the media. The headlines are everywhere. Millionaires will controversy, fraud and blackmail uncovered. Secret video exposes shocking truth behind Walker family fortune. Jason Walker fights for justice against his own brother. David tries everything to deny it. His lawyers claim Jason faked the documents, that the video is edited, that Jason is just trying to steal what was never his. But the evidence is too strong. During the court hearing, Jason watches as the mysterious man from the video is forced to testify. Under pressure, he finally confesses, admitting that he was hired to blackmail Richard Walker. By David. Gasps ripple through the courtroom. Jason turns his gaze to David, whose face is drained of color. For once, his brother looks small. The judge rules in Jason's favor. David loses everything. Jason stands at his father's grave, the wind rustling the trees around him. The weight of everything settles on his shoulders. Jason. Softly. I did it, Dad. I made it right. He places a single white rose on the headstone, a symbol of both victory and loss. As he turns to leave, a voice stops him. David O.S. scoffs. Hope it was worth it. Jason turns to see David standing nearby, looking defeated but still bitter. Jason, you did this to yourself. David lets out a humorless laugh. David, you think you won?
Fine.
Take it all. See if it makes you happy. He walks away, disappearing down the path. Jason watches him go, a mix of relief and sadness settling in his chest. He got justice, but at the cost of his brother. Fade to black. Fade in. Jason stands outside the grand estate, his hand resting on the cold stone gate. The estate, which once represented everything his family stood for, now feels like a shadow of its former self. The weight of the past few months presses on him. Victory, but at a personal cost. He watches as the estate workers go about their business, tending to the gardens, maintaining the property. There's a sense of normalcy here, but it feels hollow. Jason enters the estate, the space eerily quiet. He walks through the rooms, each one a reminder of his father's legacy. The place that once felt like home now feels like a relic of the past. He takes a deep breath and moves towards the study, the room where his father spent most of his time. His father's chair is still there, the desk littered with papers, as if frozen in time. Jason looks at it for a moment, then moves to the bookshelf. He runs his hand along the spines of the books, eventually stopping at the family photo album. He opens it slowly, flipping through the pages. Photos of happier times, family vacations, birthdays, celebrations. Jason's fingers linger on a picture of his father, a man full of life and vision. Jason VO. Softly. I don't know if you'd be proud of me, Dad, but I had to do what was right. The sound of footsteps interrupts his thoughts. He turns to see Mr. Holloway, the family lawyer, standing at the door. Mr. Holloway. You're right, Jason? Jason gives a small nod, trying to keep his emotions in check. Jason. I'm fine. Just trying to take it all in. Mr. Holloway steps closer, his face serious. Mr. Holloway. You've done the right thing. The estate has been legally transferred into your name. The public backlash will die down in time, but your father's wishes will stand. Jason. Nods slowly. I know, but it's still hard to feel like it was worth it. There's a long pause, the tension in the air palpable. Jason stands in front of the courthouse, the media frenzy still raging. The public has now sided with him, but the weight of his victory is complicated. The same reporters who once criticized him now surround him, asking for his side of the story. The cameras flash as Jason steps up to the mic. Jason. Voice steady. This isn't just about inheritance. It's about truth. My father was wronged, and I'll make sure that the right thing is done, no matter what. He looks straight into the lens, his voice firm. Jason. I won't let greed tear apart everything my father worked for. Jason closes the photo album and sets it down. He looks up at Mr. Holloway, who's been waiting patiently. Jason. I just wish things had been different. Mr. Holloway. Sincerely. We can't change the past, Jason. But you've done more than most would. You fought for your father's legacy and for justice. Jason nods again, his gaze turning to the window, watching the workers on the grounds. Jason. It's not just about this state. It's about family. And I'm realizing now that family isn't just what's left behind. It's the choices we make while we're alive. Jason meets with Lily, his best friend and confidant. She smiles as he walks in, and he can't help but smile back. Lily. Cheerful. So, how's the new king of the castle? Jason. Sighs. You know, it doesn't feel as grand as it sounds. Lily raises an eyebrow, her curiosity piqued. Lily. What do you mean? Jason. Leaning forward. I got everything, but I lost something too. My brother, David, he's gone. He's not going to come back from this. The family's broken. It feels like the win came with a heavy price. Lily places her hand on his, her expression softening. Lily. I'm sorry, Jason. But don't you think you did the right thing? You gave your father the justice he deserved. That's worth something, right? Jason's eyes drift to the window, lost in thought. The weight of the decision he made sits heavily on his chest. Jason. It is worth something, but it didn't bring back what we had before. It didn't fix anything. Jason stands at his father's grave once more, a newfound sense of peace settling over him. He places a single white rose down, just like before, but this time he's different. His journey has been long, filled with pain, loss, and moments of doubt. But he knows now that the path to justice was not just about the fortune, it was about the truth. Jason, softly, to the grave. I did it, Dad. I protected what was yours. What was ours? I'll carry this family name with honor. As he turns to leave, his eyes catch a glimmer of movement in the distance. David is standing at the far end of the cemetery, watching from a distance. Jason stops, their eyes meet for a moment. There's no anger, just an unspoken understanding. Jason nods, acknowledging his brother, and then he walks away. His heart still heavy, but a part of him is at peace. The estate, as Jason walks toward the horizon, now represents something new, a legacy built not just on inheritance, but on integrity, courage, and honesty. Fade out.